Welcome to Sheila Selects. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
What's going on, everyone? I believe that people have a story that is built on thousands of hows, whys, and whats. Join myself, Chris Sheeler, as I dive into how people live their lives, why they do what they do, and what goes on through their mind while they do it. If you love learning what makes people tick, the Sheeler Select podcast has you covered. Episodes every Monday on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcast.
Hello and welcome to Fast Facts Max, a quick podcast good enough to get you a C.
Minus.
My name is Matt, and I've got a quick story to tell.
And my name is Kev. I have a quick story to interrupt.
Well, Kevin.
Well, Matthew.
I'm going to put you in a bit of an uncomfortable spot here. Okay. I want you to imagine yourself as a person in the Civil War. Have you ever seen Dancing with Wolves?
Oh, I've seen every Kevin Costner movie.
Okay, well.
He was the only Robin Hood in my books.
You know what? I watched that movie 2 days ago.
Did you?
I really did.
When I was a kid, that was one of my favorite movies.
The Alan Rickman performance in it is amazing. It's so good. It's so good.
And Bryan Adams on the soundtrack, like I'm telling you, man, you can't beat that.
Anyways, I want you to in Dance with Wolves, so there's the scene where there are the people getting the amputations. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a person in the Civil War era.
Shoes or shoe, period, like singular.
Well, about to be shoe, but currently shoes.
Okay.
Of somebody who is about to get an amputation. Ooh. Now, it's going to be a pretty grisly process. What would you value in your doctor? What do you think?
Like a very fast sawing motion, I think.
Yes. And in fact, in that era, that's what really separated the wheat from the chaff when it came to doctors. Being really fast was the best thing you could do.
Oh, no kidding. Did I nail it there? You
totally did.
Wow.
Yeah. So because, and if you think about it, they didn't have anesthesia, so that's a big one.
Huge.
You would have to physically, you'd have two people restraining the person who's getting the amputation. If you took too long, that person could start panicking, fight the people restraining them off, and start running away, which probably isn't great if they've got half a limb cut off. And the longer the person has like an exposed wound that hasn't been sewn shut, the more likely they are to get infection. So being a fast doctor was actually like really, really, really good.
Was it as good as being a fast podcast?
Absolutely. So enter the scene this man named Robert Liston, who is the best worst surgeon you've ever heard of. And I'm saying that kind of flippantly because he does have a good, reputation for being a doctor. Like he was working with what he had at the time, which, was to be really fast. He was supposedly the fastest surgeon in the world. Supposedly people would line up to have him as a surgeon, rather than somebody else. His reputation was so good. I read something that said that on average his operations, he lost 1 in 10 people, whereas the average at the time would have been 4 in 10 people. Like
that's like
very
Dr.
good
Nick stats.
Yeah.
Hi everybody.
Everyone's running Dr. Nick stats, and yeah. So he also was supposedly considered a little arrogant. This Robert Liston, he would say things like "Time me, gentlemen," because there was a lot of public surgeries and that back in the day because they were all learning.
Could you imagine what do you want to do this afternoon? I don't know. Let's go to the hospital and watch a surgery. Yeah, well, I think
it was a lot. Yeah, to a lot of med students too, and but there was public operations. That was a thing. So a story that may or may not be apocryphal is that he was so fast during one surgery that he cut the finger of his assistant off while he was sawing the leg off of this person. He was doing it so fast. And also, he was like switching tools at some point, and while he was like kind of reaching back with the one tool, he managed to like slash the clothing of a spectator. So the patient and the assistant died from sepsis, which was unfortunate. And apparently the person whose clothing got slashed died of shock. It's the only recorded operation with a 300% fatality rate.
What?
Now that story may or may not be true. It's just, I don't know if it's silly or whatever it is. But to put a good spin on who this guy actually, was and his contribution to medicine, there are a few types. There's like a type of forceps and something else that he invented that's like still in use today, or at least was as of 2012 when the article that I read was wrote. And he did actually, for a guy who made his stock in trade on being so fast and being able to amputate, a body part so quickly, he was the first. I got to get this right because it's such a specific title, but he was the first European doctor to use ether in a public operation to basically anesthetize the person he was doing an operation on, thus kind of rendering his skill set obsolete, but also doing the patient a real solid. Supposedly, it worked so well that the patient woke up 3 minutes later and asked when the operation was going to start, to rousing laughter from all of the people who, again, were inexplicably watching this public surgery.
That is a weird ass story you have today.
Yep, that's Robert Liston. It is not a story that's long enough for an episode, but it's interesting how back in the day what contributions to medicine looked like, and how a doctor in, let's say 1518, I'm just going to pick a totally random date, would have suggested like letting blood. So even being able to perform an amputation real quick and not have the person on average die of sepsis is pretty darn good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know though. Like when I said I want a fast doctor, I don't think I want the fastest doctor. I
kind of do.
I want like a timely, like it's like dinner. I want my meal to arrive in a timely manner, but cooked to perfection. I don't want McDonald's.
Well, you got to think though, how many operations has he done? And he's cut one assistant's finger off. Well, actually, supposedly he also once amputated a leg so fast that he cut the person's testicles off as well.
You can't see my eyes, but they just opened very wide.
My laugh was when his eyes just absolutely popped.
I mean, I guess it depends. Like, how old was the guy?
But that's that's two incidents out of how many amputations there. It's like that old joke, about the about McDonald. The guy sitting at the bar, he having a drink and he's real sad. The bartender says, "Oh, what's up, fella?" And he goes, I've built 100 fences in this town. They don't call me a McDonald, the fence builder. Built 100 houses in this town. They don't call me McDonald, the house builder. You fuck one goat. And that's fast action. And that's fast facts.